how to become 1% better every single day. There's something powerful about the idea of becoming just 1% better every single day. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but simplicity is where growth really starts. Most people fail not because they're incapable, but because they believe change has to be huge, dramatic, instant. They think transformation is supposed to look like a movie montage, quick, fast, and obvious. But real growth doesn't work like that. It's quiet, it's subtle, it's small, and it's built one decision at a time. So today, I want to talk to you about the life-changing power of small improvements and why becoming just 1% better each day can completely transform your future. Let me start with something you've probably already experienced. You ever have a moment where you feel motivated as hell, like you're ready to change your whole life, and you tell yourself, this is it. I'm done messing around. Starting tomorrow, I'm locked in. You plan your goals, you map out your routines, you get excited, and then after a week, sometimes even a few days, you burn out. You fall off, you start missing days, you lose momentum, and suddenly you feel like you're back at zero again. But here's the truth nobody tells you. You didn't fail because you weren't motivated. You didn't fail because you were lazy. You didn't fail because you're not like other people. You failed because you tried to change everything at once. The human mind isn't built for overnight transformations. It's built for gradual upgrades. Think about it like this. If you decide to lift weights, you don't start by trying to bench 300 pounds on day one. That would crush you. You start with a weight you can handle, even if it's just a bar, and you add a little bit more over time. Life works the exact same way. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they need to take massive steps to make massive progress. But becoming 1% better every single day stacks up. Small actions multiply, they compound. And over time, those tiny improvements turn into something extraordinary. Let me give you an example. If you improve your life by just 1% each day for over a year, you become 37 times better by the end of it. If you decline by 1% each day for a year, you end up almost at zero. Think about how crazy that is. Tiny improvements, so small that you barely notice them, become life-changing over time. So let's talk about what 1% better actually looks like. It could be waking up 10 minutes earlier. It could be doing 5 push-ups today and 6 tomorrow. It could be reading 2 pages of a book. It could be drinking 1 more bottle of water than you usually do. It could be saying no to something that drains you. It could be choosing not to pick up your phone for the last 10 minutes of your day, or the first 10 minutes of your day. These things seem small, almost insignificant, but they build discipline. They build momentum, and momentum is everything. Because once you start moving, it becomes harder to stop. Now here's the real secret behind becoming 1% better. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. You're not trying to become perfect today. You're trying to be slightly better than you were yesterday. That's it. That's the entire formula. I know this dude just wasted 4 minutes of your life to tell you that. When you focus on the 1% improvement, something amazing happens. You stop being scared to start. You stop being overwhelmed. You stop talking yourself out of trying. I've wanted to make these videos for a long time, and me personally am taking it 1% every day. Because, anyone can improve by 1%. Anyone can take a small step. Anyone can do something tiny that moves them in the right direction. The problem is never the step, it's the pressure that we put behind it. Let me ask you something, and try to be honest with yourself. How much of your life has been spent waiting for that perfect moment to change? How many times have you said you'll start next week? How many times have you waited until you feel ready? How many times have you talked to yourself out of a goal because the journey just felt overwhelming? You don't need the perfect moment. You don't need a full plan. You don't need instant results. You just need to start with the smallest possible improvement. Because here's what happens when you commit to becoming 1% better. You start building self-trust. You start proving to yourself that you follow through. You start seeing small wins, and small wins turn into bigger wins. And that is a huge booster. You start changing your identity. And identity is a real transformation. When you become the kind of person who shows up every day, even in small ways, your entire life is going to shift. You stop saying things like, I always fall off, I'm not consistent, I'm just not disciplined. Because your actions start to prove otherwise. The things people would tell you are no longer true, so they can't tell it to you anymore. Let me tell you something important. Success is not built on massive action. 1% better every day doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't feel loud. It doesn't feel like a movie moment. But it will take you further than any burst of motivation ever will. Let me share a story. All right. There was a guy who wanted to lose weight, but hated to go to the gym. So his goal wasn't a full workout. He didn't tell himself he'd go lift an hour. He told himself he only had to walk through the doors. That's it. Walk in, be present, then leave. And he did that for a whole week. Then another week, and another. Eventually he started staying for 5 minutes, then 10, then 20. And within a year, he was in the best shape of his life. All from starting with a goal so small it seemed pointless. It wasn't pointless. It was 1%. And that's the whole point. 1% doesn't feel impressive, but it's powerful. So here's what I want you to remember. Every habit you build, even the small ones, they're votes for the person you want to become. Every tiny improvement is proof that your future does matter to you. Every small step is a brick in the foundation of your new life. Today, your job isn't to become perfect. It's not to change everything. It's not to reinvent yourself overnight. Your job is to take a step, a small one, that moves you forward. Maybe today that step is drinking more water. Maybe it's journaling for a couple of minutes. Maybe it's stretching. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's deleting one distraction off your phone. Maybe it's choosing not to give up on yourself. Personally, I love nature. I want to start hiking. I want to start seeing places that I've never seen. So my 1% that I'm working on right now is doing this YouTube stuff, creating videos, and going hiking, going on trails, taking my dog with me to see places that we've never seen together. Whatever your 1% looks like, commit to it. Because 1% today becomes 1% tomorrow. And before you know it, you become someone stronger, more disciplined, more confident, more capable, someone who creates their life instead of reacting to it. And let me tell you something that most people overlook. Sometimes your 1% has nothing to do with productivity, routines, or discipline. Sometimes your 1% is emotional. Sometimes it's mental. Sometimes it's choosing to treat yourself with a little more patience than you did yesterday. Because growth isn't just about building habits, it's also about healing the parts of you that keep holding you back. Maybe your 1% today is choosing not to talk to yourself like your own worst enemy. Maybe it's allowing yourself to rest without feeling guilty about it. Maybe it's forgiving yourself for something you've been carrying for too long. Maybe it's reminding yourself that progress doesn't always look like grinding. Sometimes it's giving your mind a break. We tend to think becoming better means pushing harder, doing more, forcing ourselves into action. But sometimes it means slowing down, breathing, resetting, choosing peace over chaos, choosing clarity over noise, intention over autopilot. And here's the thing, you're allowed to redefine what progress looks like every single day. Some days you feel unstoppable, like you can do anything. Other days, life will hit you harder than you expected. And the commitment stays the same. Do something, anything that moves you forward, even if it's small. You're not in competition with anyone else. You're not running their race. You're not living their life. Your progress belongs to you and you alone. So if today your 1% is simply showing up to listen to this message, that counts. If your 1% is promising yourself you'll try again tomorrow, that counts too. Every step matters. Every effort adds up. Every tiny improvement is building a version of you that you haven't even met yet. But one day you will. And when you do, you'll realize every small step was worth it. So start small, start simple, start now. Become 1% better today. Your future self is begging you